Okay. So before starting the class content, explanation of this class content or the demo, the prerequisites for this Snowflake training is like nothing. We don't need any prerequisite. So in this lesson, in this training module itself, we will complete whatever the courses required. Will complete. But if we do have a knowledge on SQL, then it will be an add-on benefit for us. If we don't know SQL also, there is no problem. We will teach the things which are required for the Snowflake. Those concepts we will explain in this training. And also, if you do have knowledge on the Azure, any cloud, if you do have, it will be just add-on benefit. If you don't know the Azure or AWS GCP, there is no problem, because we will teach the Azure concepts, not complete Azure technology, but Azure concepts which are required for the Snowflake. We will see all the topics in a clear picture. So that's the reason. If we just concerned about like what are the prerequisites, should I know anything? Nothing. It's if you do have some software knowledge or IT knowledge, then it will be more sufficient for learning this Snowflake technology. And how easy it will be, so it is not much difficult. Like we do have around 20 to 25 topics. So if we understand each topic, then it will be, it's not a ocean like other data warehouses or other clouds. It's not a ocean. Like we have a picture of 20 to 25 topics. If we understand very well, then we can have a developer, Snowflake developer kind of jobs we can achieve. And if we just compare with the other data warehouses, like their DBA separate, like database administrators will be separate, developers will be separate, and production support engineers will be separate. So they do require some additional skills when compared with each of the technology. But for Snowflake, it's like a very user friendly. A person who learns Snowflake can handle the DBA activities, can handle the developer roles, and can handle the production support, because everything is in a user friendly manner. In a single click through UI itself, we can create the users, we can manage the DBA activities, we can schedule our jobs, we can monitor our jobs, we can develop the queries. Everything can be done in a ease manner, very user friendly technology. So we have many pros when compared to the other data warehouses, so that we will see what are the pros we do have in Snowflake in our regular classes. Each and every class we will see that. Now just I am walking through the class content and explaining each and every topic in a briefly, like what will we will discuss in our training modules. So first, before starting Snowflake class, what I'll do, I'll prefer teaching SQL. So if all the persons who are in the batch knew very well about SQL, I'll just skip those classes. And if the people who are not aware of the SQL, or who want to understand the concepts of SQL, so first I'll start with the SQL classes. So first we'll see like the SQL basics, like what is data warehouse, or what is database, what is a table, like what are the commands there, DDL commands, DQL, DML, DCL commands, what are the commands we do have, that we will discuss. And join concepts. So mostly like 80% we need to understand in the SQL, like the commands, DDL, DQL command, and the rest of the thing is with the joins only. Like we need to develop big queries by using multiple tables, by combining two different data sets. So for that, joins concept will help us. So what type of joins are there? Inner join, outer join, self joins. So again, in the outer join we have right, left, full outer join. So we'll discuss in detail what at the back end, like normally just if I apply left join on two data sets, I will get this result. It's not the case. What happens at the back end, like we cannot see with any compiler or Snowflake, any data warehouse, we cannot see the backend part. But I'll explain that concept in the Excel, what will happen at each step to get the final output. So that we'll see in detail about this join concept. And functions, like we have some functions, basic functions what we will use in a daily life. And also the constraints, primary key, foreign key, unique key constraints which are available, that also we'll see under the SQL classes. So these three just concepts wise, like it's three topics, but it takes 4 to 5 classes to explain in detail. So these are the first set of things which I'll explain in our training module. Later, I'll start with the introduction. So, what made to come the Snowflake evolution? What are the existing evolutions are there? What are the cons available in the existing data warehouses, on-premises data warehouses, and why we are moving to cloud? What is the reason? What are the benefits? So that information we'll see in the introduction and history of class. And the self registration. So once we'll start SQL classes, I'll show you the first step as a how to register with the Snowflake. So for doing this, like, do we need to pay any money, or do we need to give our details of credit card or debit card? Nothing. So Snowflake is providing a trial version. So it's a 30 days of trial version is there. So we can use the excuse me, so we can use that 30 days of trial and practice everything. Like there is no single point like if I go for the subscription, can I practice these things, and with the trial version can I not practice these things? Nothing is there. Each and every topic we can practice in the trial version, and no problem. Even after 30 days also, with the same email id and same information, you can again log in. You can re-log in into the trial version, so there is no issue. N number of times you can take the trial version with the same email id, there is no problem. So that I'll show you self registration part. And Snowflake UI. So why a separate topic for this UI? Because Snowflake is given a multiple flavors of UIs based on the person's usage. So we do have a classic console, snow site, and also snow sequel. So classic console and snow site are the UIs which we connect through browser, like how we are connecting to the Gmail. In the similar way, we will connect to the Snowflake through UI. These are the two topics. And snow sequel is the command line prompt. That means if we are having a background of Unix and Linux, so we'll work in the black screen. So Snow SQL is also kind of a UI which is a black screen. In the command prompt itself, we'll create the objects, we will use the objects, work with the objects, write the queries. Any UI we can use, there is no restriction. But going forward, classic console UI will be getting decommissioned. We will be switching, using only snow site UI. So that's the reason I'll explain all the topics in the snow site UI only. Classic console, with then and there I'll explain how it looks like, how it will be displayed, everything I'll explain, but we usage will be in the snow site. But when I compare like with the snow site and classic console is very user friendly. The creation of the objects or getting the SQL, everything, it's very user friendly. So I'll explain both the things. You can just differentiate the things there while explaining also. Then Snowflake architecture. So how Snowflake architecture is divided? Three layers are there. So each layer comprises database storage layer, compute layer, cloud services layer. So what type of information available in each layer, and what are the costs occurred on each layer, and complete information about the Snowflake architecture we'll see in the Snowflake architecture class. And virtual warehouses. So to provide some compute resources, we need to create an object called virtual warehouse in Snowflake. So how to create that virtual warehouse? What are the sizes of the warehouses we do have? How many policies are there? Modes are there? Everything we'll see in detail about this virtual warehouses class. And SQL base is completed. Next, first, after all whatever I just now I have explained, all these are theoretical classes, complete theory. But from now onwards, it will be both theory and practice. So containers, databases, schemas, tables. So creation of the databases, schemas, tables, constraints. What are the constraints available in the Snowflake? How many are enforced and how many are not enforced? So that information we will see in this class. And file loading through UI. So Snowflake is able to handle the ETL part also. Okay, first of all, what is Snowflake? Like, is it an ETL tool or a data warehousing technology? So based on your understanding, what kind of tool it is? Any guesses from anyone? No. Is it an ETL tool or data warehouse or any other technology, front end technology or back end technology? Any idea about Snowflake?
No, any idea?
No. Okay. So, Snowflake is purely a data warehousing technology, not an ETL tool. So, here the data of historical information, which is used for analytical purposes, will be maintained in this data warehouse. So, Snowflake is a data warehousing technology, not an ETL tool. So, ETL tool means connecting to different databases and bringing the information and loading into the other tables. So, this part is the ETL, but data warehouse will maintain the data, like for analytical purposes. Historical data will be maintained for forecasting, everything it will be maintained. So that we'll see in the concept of SQL basis, what is data warehouse, how it will be stored, everything we'll see in detail. So finally, Snowflake is a data warehousing technology. But in through Snowflake, we can handle a small portion of ETL. That means, like if you do have files in your desktop and you want to upload that data into the Snowflake tables, then we can upload through console itself in a very user friendly manner. We can upload the data from the file which is available in our local desktop into the Snowflake table. So again, Snowflake can handle structured, semi structured and unstructured data also. So we'll see what is structured, semi structured, unstructured, all kinds of data, and how we will load the structured data. So structured data example is CSV file load, and semi-structured is JSON and paraquet, XML, ORC. These are the like semi-structured files. So we'll see both structured and semi-structured, how can we upload the files into the Snowflake tables through UI, not with any ETL tool, just through UI. How can we upload the data, we will see in the file loading through UI class. Next, micro partitions. So once the data is loaded into the table, a micro partition is created. So this micro partition, no need to mention by from ourselves. Snowflake itself have a knowledge, and based on the algorithms, it creates micro partitions and maintains the information. So we need to understand this micro partitions concept very thoroughly, because based on this topic alone, we have a continuity topics of 3 to 4 topics are there. So if we understand very clearly these micro partitions, then the rest of the topics will be easy for visualization, because we cannot see all this micro partition with our eye, just it's a visualization thing. So we need to understand this topic very clearly. Next, data cloning. So here we have a backup. I mean, in every data warehouse or database, we have the backing up of the table or object, we can do that. So here also we have the concept called cloning, but it's a zero copy clone. That means we don't get any storage cost on the backup table, because it's a virtual copy, not a physical copy. So how a virtual copy will work, how it refers the data, we will see in depth in the data cloning class. And time travel feature. So this is one of the unique feature available in Snowflake, and we don't have in any data warehouse. So that means, like time travel in the sense, so currently I am in today's like April 5th. So I can travel back to some date like April 1st or March 1st. I can travel and see what is the data on that day in my table. So that also we have a limitation, like only 90 days we can define the time travel. So in these 90 days, like whatever you want to see, we can see that data. So we'll see how to apply the time travel on the object, and how to extract the data using the time travel, we'll see in detail in the time travel class. Next, role hierarchy. So this class is especially role hierarchy, like it's a DBA related kind. Suppose a new user has joined in your team, I mean new person has joined into your team, what you have to do, like we need to create a Snowflake user account for them. So that part comes under this role hierarchy. So once he comes, we'll create user in a very user friendly manner, like in a single click we can do that. And how to assign a role, particular role to them, what are the roles and responsibilities of that user. So that everything we'll see in the how to create user, how to create role, how to assign the objects to this role, and again the role needs to be assigned to the user. Everything we'll see in detail in the role hierarchy. So this only concept comes for the DBA activity. Next, Data sharing and reader accounts. Suppose if you want to share your data with any third party vendor, then normally in other data warehouses, what we will do, we'll just download the file and share the file over the SFTP path or over the email or some API call mechanism, we will give the data. But here in Snowflake, we have a concept called share, data share. So this is the object, and we can directly share the data with a third party vendor very easily and securely. So majorly it's a securely we can share the data from database to database. Suppose let's say third party vendor doesn't have the data Snowflake account, so for them we will just create reader accounts, just they can read the data, they can use the data. So that accounts, how to create, how to use, we will see in detail in the class of data sharing. And views, so this is not a special unique topic in Snowflake, but it is very similar to the other data warehouse all itself. So here we have a materialized view, non-materialized view, secure views are there, so which helps us to have a data security at row level with the help of secure views. So this we will see in detail types of views. And snow sequence, so as we are, whatever the features above we discussed, we can either work with the snow site or classic console or snow sequence. So but okay, one topic is there, that is stages. So we do have internal stages and external stages. So these internal stages, just I'll explain the stage is an area where we can upload our files and maintain the files. So to do this activity, we need to use the put command. So running of put command will not work in the snow site and classic console. For that, we need to use snow SQL must and should. So for that reason, how to install the snow SQL and how to use the snow SQL, how to connect to our Snowflake account, everything we will see in this class. And the concept of internal stages like bulk or batch loading. So internal stages, how many types of internal stages are there, how to create, how to maintain, everything we can see in this bulk or batch loads through stages. And data loading from Azure. So next, the coming topics are related to the Azure. So this training module, I am going to explain Snowflake with Azure, but it is not the case in all the projects in everywhere. Only Snowflake with Azure may or may not be used. So Snowflake with AWS can be used, Snowflake with GCP also can be used. But in our training module, like Snowflake with Azure will be taught. And the thing, like if I know Azure, can I handle AWS and GCP? Yes, we can easily handle. If we understand the concept, the naming will be different when compared to the Azure with the AWS or GCP. But we need to understand the concept, what are available and what is the requirement, what is the usage of that requirement, we need to understand, so we can easily handle in any of the cloud. So how to take the trial version of in the Azure, so and how to create an external stage. So internal stage is the one which is used to upload the files from our local into the Snowflake area. External stages, like if you do have files in your cloud, you need to bring that to the Snowflake area, then we will go for the external stages. And continuous data load, so if let's say like your project is having a continuous data, so that means for every minute you are getting some thousands of files and you need to process that files. So for that reason, we have a snow pipe concept. So in the snow pipe, it will automatically brings the files from the cloud and process the files. So processing in the itself in it means like loading the data from the file into the Snowflake table, so automatically can be handled through snowpipe objects. So that we will see, like 13 to 14 steps are there to set up the snowpipe. Once we set up, automatically whenever the files are available in the cloud, it picks and process the load. So that we'll see in detail. And external tables, so along with the internal tables, we have external tables, so we can create in Snowflake but maintained at cloud. So that we will see external table and how we load the data, how we refresh the data, everything we'll see through the external table concept. And stored procedures, so stored procedure we do have in other data warehouses also, the same concept here. Like if you have run multiple queries are there and you need to keep all these queries in one object and run that object, this is stored procedure. But here it has been a wider scope, That means like whoever having knowledge of Python, Scala, big data, Hadoop, so they can also write stored procedure very easily, because Snowflake is giving an opportunity to write in any language. If you are very familiar with the SQL, you can write stored procedure with SQL language. If you are familiar with JavaScript, you can write JavaScript, even Java, Python, Scala. So these many flavors has been given, like you can write with any language. But most of the projects are writing either with JavaScript or SQL, because end of the day, a Python project is getting migrated to Snowflake. That means Python is going to be decommissioned. So that's the reason even Python team also preferring to write their stored procedure either JavaScript or through SQL. So that we will see how to write stored procedure, how to do error handling through in the stored procedure through JavaScript and SQL in our stored procedures classes. And UDFs, so user defined functions. If you have a repeated logic needs to be used, and you can keep that in one UDF, and you can refer that UDF in multiple places. So we have scalar UDFs and tabular UDFs. So we'll explain in detail how it works and how to create, how to execute. We will see in this UDFs class. Next, streams concept. So these are like this is again one more unique object which we don't have in any data warehouse. So streams are nothing but like it will capture the CDC, change data capture. If a table is there, if on that table, if there are any new inserts or any updates or any deletes happened on that table, this stream will capture very easily. I mean, no need to write any specific logic. Like if it says the last updated column is null, then we need to consider it as an inserted record. Our last updated date is having some value, and that to today, then we need to consider it as an updated record. No need to write any logic. Just on the table we will create a string. Automatically it will capture the information, whatever the changes happened on the table, that information it will be captured, and we can consume that data. So we'll see how many types of streams are there, how can we use create the streams, how can we consume the data, what is the main motto to use the stream in the implementation of the incremental with SCD1. We will see in detail in the streams concept. And task object, so this specific topic task is a scheduler, like whoever are interested in the production support. So how to create a task, how to schedule a task, how to monitor a task, so what type of things we can schedule, and how many mechanisms are there for scheduling, how many dependencies are there, everything we'll see in this task. So if we are related to the production support, this topic alone comes for the production support activities. And information schema, so whenever a database is created, automatically information schema will be created. So that is like just having the audit information, so about each table, each stage, stream, task, everything will be available. Just say it's a audit information handled by Snowflake itself, we will not maintain anything. Snowflake itself handles everything. So that is information schema. And clustering, so to improve the performance of your query, if the query's performance is degraded, then we will go for the clustering concept. So maybe if in other data warehouses we have heard about indexing concept, so it is more or less similar to the indexing concept. So clustering we can do, we can do automatic clustering, reclustering, we can off the reclustering, we can change the reclustering, everything we'll see in the clustering topic. And caching, so this is not a new topic in Snowflake. So caching will have in other data warehouses also. So if we are using a repeated query data, result of a repeated query, then we have different types of caches: metadata cache, result cache, local disk IO cache. So at each level, so these caches are tagged to our Snowflake architecture. So each Snowflake architecture is having the cache information. So how to use that cache, how to enable, how to disable, we'll see clearly in the caching topic. And along with this, along with the topics, I'll explain a project like from the scratch. It's not a migration project what I'm going to explain, it's purely a scratch project. How you are getting the data, from where you are getting the data, and how you are transforming the data, what type of stored procedures you are creating, whether you are scheduling through tasks, everything I'll explain end to, I mean from starting to end, how the data will be used. That information I'll explain with the help of all the objects confirm, I mean once all the topics are completed, I'll explain this project. Next, if we want to monitor how the usage happened, how the storage cost is there, which object has been consumed or which warehouse has been consumed, so that type of information. And billing, so if we are having a subscription account, we will see the credit card details, like who is going to pay. That information we will see in this monitoring and billing. And data replication, so if we want to replicate our databases with any other cloud or in the same cloud with other accounts, then we can do this database replication. So how can we create a new account, fresh account in our organization, and how can we replicate the database? Everything we'll see in this database replication. And initially, like a Snowflake snow site, I haven't I mean I'm not using. When I have used classic console, so a separate a topic for snow site. But now I will explain everything in snow site, so this won't be a separate topic. Every day we will be using the snow site itself. And whatever data I am getting from transactional databases, I am getting and loading into the Snowflake data warehouse. So here I'll use an ETL tool called Talent and show you how to connect to the database, transactional database as a source, and how the data will be loaded into the Snowflake table. That I'll show you. I mean, this is uh, it's just a info purpose. I will explain the project. For the project related, how your data is getting populated from the transactional databases to Snowflake. Just an informative thing, Talent will load the data, that class we have. And after finalizing, like after preparing your query according to the mapping sheet, you will give this data to the reporting team. So how the reporting team will use the data, that I'll explain in a separate class with the help of Power BI connection. So this is a complete training module. It will take 40 to 45 days, not calendar days. 40 to 45 classes are required. Like here 33 topics are there, but few topics will take 2 days or 3 days, and few topics will take 15 minutes and 20 minutes. So totally I need 40 to 45 days including SQL classes. So this is about complete I mean information what we are going to discuss in the training. So just now start shooting out your questions if you do have any.
Yeah.
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 Hi.
Hi. Yeah. Hello. How are you?
I am doing good, Preeti. How are you?
Good. So, yeah, thanks for the introduction and everything for the course. So, my
Mhm.
question is, so all these topics we will be discussing practically also, right?
Yes, both theoretical and practical. So whatever first 3 to 4 topics, like it's purely theoretical, and the rest of the topics, first discuss theory and do the practice every day. And I'll share those queries also, whatever we have practiced. I'll share the queries and the PPT also, whatever we have discussed theoretically. That PPT also I'll share.
Okay. So, actually, there is one
Mm,
important topic of like that we usually now we are um, we are looking at that everywhere. The thing is like time travel and fail safe
mm,
also.
mm, mm,
So, are we including that as a practical also? I just wanted to check like how it works.
mm. Yeah, I mean you want to see like practically we will create the object with the help, I mean how to create a time travel object, and how to retrieve the data using the time travel in three methods we do have, with the
Yeah.
query ID, with the offset mechanism, with the timestamp. Everything I'll show you practically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this is something very new for everybody, I think so. So, yeah. So we need your help if you can please show us the practical too.
Sure. I mean, everything, each and every topic, I'll explain you practically and
Okay.
display you the output, whatever the expectation we are, our topic, I'll show you practically. So there is no issue.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any others?
Okay, where to find for practical purpose data? Means for practice purpose, sample data.
Sample data also I'll share, like whatever we discuss in the class. If the data through files we are uploading the data, I'll share the files, and whatever the queries we are discussing, that queries also I'll share every day over email.
So how is the market? What kind of jobs is the only Snowflake developer or any QA related jobs or what kind of jobs are there?
Okay,
What's
basically, see, whenever a person is looking for a Snowflake technology, I mean, I am talking about the recruiter perspective. So they are expecting not only a developer, the Snowflake person needs to handle all types of things, TBA related things, and also support related things also needs to be handled. So I mean, it's a user friendly, so expectation is like this. And coming to the QA, as like in current days, we don't have a separate team for ETL testing or data warehousing testing. We do have a peer-to-peer testing. Very rare cases like a QA positions are there, but basically everything is a Snowflake developer position. So developer position includes both DBA and production support also.
okay? Thank you, Lahari.
Yeah. And I mean, should I learn only Snowflake, or should I go with any ETL tool or reporting tool? If you have a flexibility and bandwidth, go for it, there is no problem. But alone, Snowflake also, it's more than enough. Like we are getting a lot of calls along with the Snowflake. If you have a combination of ETL or reporting also, it's fine, no problem. But if we have that only, we will get the calls. It's not the case. In the market, like who are having 3 to 4 years of experience on Snowflake, and below 3 years also, like we don't have the people will not be interested to take 3 years, below 3 years. So 3 to 4 years we can keep our experience and go.
Hey, Larry, so quick question.
Anything need
So, do you actually,
AWS to-
Sorry,
for
again,
it any added AWS, it need to learn means any added advantage of Snowflake.
see, it's added advantage in the sense, whatever the topics here, the snow pipe, external stage, external table, we need the information of the cloud. So for handling Snowflake alone, you want to learn those topics, you have to have the idea of those topics. But if you want to go for like ADF, like Azure Data Factory, or through AWS, if you want to handle ETL, it's a add-on benefit. But majorly none of the person is expecting to learn complete cloud with Snowflake, but we need to handle the activities which are related to Snowflake.
hey, Larry, so quick question. So, do you actually join us on the migration projects as well with the Snowflake? I mean, a
No,
kind of,
I am. See, I'm not going to explain the migration project, because the thing is, if I start explaining the migration project, it will be easy only. But we need to use the third party tools. None of the recruiters are expecting we have migrated manually the objects data I mean, it's not a acceptable thing. So again, third party tool needs to be learned, and so this is the thing. I mean, I'm not going to handle explain about the migration project from the scratch. You have used Snowflake and you get the data, how you will give the data to the reporting team, that concept I'll explain.
okay, so technically what you're saying is we're gonna go on the in-depth of Snowflake and that should be suffice for us.
Mm, yes, exactly.
Are you
Any
explaining any
others?
architecture or anything now? Architecture or anything? Just
No, now not just like explaining the classic class content, and later like we'll just have these questions. Some doubts will be there, right? What about Snowflake? How jobs, everything.
What is the difference between Snowflake versus Redshift? Or like, how do we decide which is better?
See, that you need to decide based on the your requirement, what type of sources you are having, and what type of usage you have, like whether it's a analytical usage or transactional usage. So it depends on many factors. What type of data you are going to get, you have to decide.
Okay. 5 days a week? Or how is the schedule, class schedule?
Sorry.
Class timings and days. Is it 5 days or 6 days?
Yeah. No, no, it's 5 days, Monday to Friday. Most probably it is in the morning 7 to 8 a.m. IST. Maybe the Visualpath team will confirm you on that.
Oh, mostly during my morning time.
IST. Yes, yeah, IST morning.
Okay.
Yeah, and please drop your email IDs in the chat and phone numbers so that we can contact.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Any others have doubts? And most probably like I see all are experienced having a background of data warehousing and SQL, or freshers into the SQL and data warehouse.
I have some knowledge in SQL, Lahari,
Okay.
but my background
Uh,
is completely from. I'm from my background is GA.
Oh, no problem. So we can, I mean, it will be a kind of a fresher thing only on the SQL.
I actually work on data warehousing right now, so I mean, I'm
Mm.
actually familiar with the SQL Server and SQL
Okay.
expressions and
Mhm. Okay, great. So it's a mix and match. So we'll just start with the SQL topics and then we'll move on to the Snowflake topics. Okay, any other questions we do have? Okay, if we don't have any classes, like we'll see in the regular classes once the training gets started.
So when is the expected start of training? Or
Mm,
tomorrow also we have same session like same day. Tomorrow we have
no,
same.
no, it's just a demo. It's just what type of information I'm going to explain. That demo we have. Most probably it will be on from next Monday onwards. Yeah, please
Okay.
contact. We will just get in touch. You please share your information so that it will be helpful for us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time.
I have one more
Uh,
question, Lahari. So,
yeah, yeah.
apart from snowflakes, what
Mm.
are other technologies we need to learn so that it's good for marketing our resume?
So see, like just say you do have a 10 years or 8 plus years of experience. Better you go for ETL plus Snowflake, or Snowflake plus a data warehouse plus reporting tool. So that will suffice. If you are going with the 4 years or 5 years, nothing is required. Snowflake alone will help you, but you need to be very confident on the SQL topics. So mostly whatever the topics we are seeing, a stream, just it's a overview we'll see. But you, if you want to write a query and keep in a stored procedure, you need to understand the SQL joins concept, some functions, usage of function, transformations, primary key constraints, all this you need to understand. So based on your experience you can select your technologies. But to just work on the Snowflake you don't require any other additional technology.
Okay. Thank
Do we have primary keys in Snowflake?
Yes, we have the primary keys, but the thing is Snowflake will not follow the primary key constraint. We have the constraints we can define on a table, but the thing is Snowflake will not I mean accept that constraints. It will not enforce the constraints. Only the not null constraint will work and the rest of the things will fail.
Okay. Okay. What about partitions?
Partitions we don't have. Snowflake itself create partitions like the micro partitions concept. So we don't have a opportunity to decide based on this column or based on this condition I need to partition my data. We don't have such concept. Snowflake itself will decide the partition. Like whatever the data loaded, uh, it has a size. It ranges to 50 MB to 500 MB. It will just create a single micro partition. So whatever the data entered, that will be created as a micro partition.
Okay. What about secondary indexes or something like
No,
in indexes, right?
nothing,
In Oracle, nothing, not there.
nothing. No,
You
no, nothing.
you said something like clustering is similar to indexes. Is it different?
Indexing, that, yeah, it's different. Clustering is a kind of sorting the data in the micro partitions. It's not purely indexing. uh, I mean it's a kind of
Okay.
related thing, but it's not at all
Okay.
complete
Okay.
indexing concept.
But it will be taken care by Snowflake automatically, or we have to do something.
No, while if you want to define your clustering, then while creating the table or after creation of the table, you have to give the which column, on which column I need to sort the data. So once you created, it will take care everything like
Oh,
maintenance, sorting.
okay,
Every
okay,
time
okay.
it will take care.
That means we need to define the column on which clustering need to be
Yes,
done.
yes, yeah. It's
Okay,
a kind
okay.
of performance technique.
Yeah, it is best, especially it is used in on the filter clauses, right? Filter
Yes,
or where clause.
exactly, exactly. Filter predicates.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, anyway, it's a really nice index. You're really covering, you
Yeah,
know,
thank you,
impressive. Yeah.
thank you, thank you. And one more thing, like I am from Andhra Telugu states only. If we got stuck somewhere, like someone didn't understand, maybe freshers will be there who are having a very fresh background on the SQL, but having IT experience. So if you got stuck somewhere and if you want a Telugu version of teaching alone that topic, I can explain you. There is no issue for me. So that flexibility also there with us.
Okay. If you don't mind, how much experience you have total?
I do have 9 years.
Okay, okay. So,
Okay. So I hope no more questions from anyone. If you do have, like, just contact the team and we'll just clarify your doubts. So thank you. Thanks for your day. Have a great day.
thank you.
Bye, everyone.